I don't think Dan can tan. Frank, if Chelsea sign Xavi Simons, will they win the Premier League title this season?
There's no win. There's no. They missed out win. So we don't know what it is.
Yeah. There's.
We don't know what it is. Dan Summerton is going for.
Yeah. It has win here, so
right,
maybe the graphic just.
All right, okay.
Well, I'd avoid to point out the mistake by the graphic people, Shag.
Yes.
You know, this is a team match.
Now they're gonna get yelled.
I thought it was a mistake by Dan Summerton.
Guys, this question
I was just making the point that we don't know what Dan Summerton is talking about.
This question was for Frank. Let Frank have his 2 minutes of fame. Frank?
I don't think so. I mean, I really appreciate Xavi Simons. I saw him starting at Paris Saint-Germain. I saw what he did to RB Leipzig. But again, there is a difference between playing for RB Leipzig and playing after for a big club like Chelsea. And there is a way to settle down the quickest as possible. But we don't know how it's going to be Xavi Simons. And if you have to compare right now, Liverpool and Chelsea, for example, you will say that Liverpool are the favorites. But it's encouraging to see the signing that I saw from Chelsea, and Chelsea can be, let's say, one of the contender, but more, I would say, more one of the 4 teams for the Champions League. But to pretend that you can win the Premier League, you still need more consistency and more experience for me.
Let me go to Gab quickly on this one. Gab, what is the latest on this one? Will Chelsea get Xavi Simons?
I think it's blowing hot and cold. I think he's made it very clear that he wants to move on. I think Leipzig are ready to cash in. For me, the big question with Xavi Simons is what's the knock-on effect going to be on the rest of the team? How is it going to impact Cole Palmer? How is it going to impact Enzo, who's going to play where? You know, these are just questions. You don't just drop Xavi Simons into a team and say, oh, look, he's a good player. Chelsea have made a bunch of other signings. What does Maresca actually have in mind? And like I said, with Chelsea, it often looks like, oh, look, here's an asset. Let's sign him, and then we'll figure out what to do with him later, knowing that if he's young and if he's talented, you know, we can always kind of flip him and sort out our books if it doesn't work out for us. So, yeah, I don't know. He adds depth, sure, but would he crack the starting 11? I'm not 100% certain.
Just for a little bit of context, because we seem to be loving Xavi Simons and Benjamin Sesko and these players from Leipzig. Just a reminder, Leipzig missed out on the top 4 in Bundesliga. And part of the reason as to why they missed out is because Xavi Simons was not playing at his best. Benjamin Sesko was not as productive as they thought he would be. Lois Openda was coming up short. I'm just saying, we seem to believe and think and project that these guys were magnificent over here, they're going to be great over there. Well, they were not magnificent over here. And so that projection as to magically they're going to be great somewhere else, I think we're taking a leap with both Sesko and Xavi Simons.
Gab?
I think I'm right in saying I think they lost 8 or 9 games out of 10 in the Champions League. And if there's a cautionary tale to the model, it's Leipzig, because this is a team that accumulates talent and then says, all right, we'll figure out later how the pieces fit together. And this is why I'm not 100% on Xavi Simons. Does he add depth and make you better? Yeah, but Chelsea have added a lot of players that add depth and make them better. But then you got to come up with a lineup where it makes sense for these guys to play together. So I don't think it's Xavi Simons who puts Chelsea over the top.
Right then, Blues, let's have a proper chat about something that's got everyone talking around Stamford Bridge. The question on every Chelsea fan's lips right now. Could one potential signing actually transform us into genuine Premier League title contenders this season? I've been diving deep into this, and the picture is far more complex than the headlines suggest. Now, before we go any further, there's been some serious developments in West London, and if you want to stay ahead of every breaking story, every exclusive update, and every tactical breakdown that matters to Chelsea fans, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're building something special here, and you don't want to miss a single development that could shape our season. Let me paint you the full picture here. We're talking about a Dutch international who's been lighting up the Bundesliga, a player who's caught the eye of Europe's elite clubs, and someone who could genuinely add that creative spark we've been crying out for. But here's where it gets interesting. Whilst everyone's getting carried away with the excitement of a potential signing, we need to have an honest conversation about what it would actually mean for our title chances this season. Enzo Maresca's been working wonders since arriving at the bridge, and his possession-based system is starting to click. The Italian's got a clear vision of how he wants us to play, and you can see the foundations being laid week after week. But here's the reality check. Adding one player, no matter how talented, doesn't magically solve all our problems or guarantee us the title. Let's be honest about where we stand right now. We're competing against Liverpool, who are the defending Premier League champions after their brilliant 2024-25 season, a Manchester City team that's been the benchmark for years, and an Arsenal squad that finished second and are desperate to get over the line. These teams have had consistency, they've had time to gel, and they've got that winning mentality embedded throughout their squads. The player we're discussing has undeniable quality. There's no question about that. We're talking about someone who can pick a pass, who can drive forward with the ball, and who's proven he can perform at the highest level. His ability to play multiple positions across the front line and in midfield would give Maresca the tactical flexibility that modern football demands. But here's where we need to temper expectations. Remember what happened with RB Leipzig last season. They failed to qualify for Europe, and some of their key players, including this particular talent, didn't quite hit the heights that were expected of them. It's easy to get caught up in the YouTube highlights and the impressive statistics, but the reality is that even the most talented players need time to adapt to the Premier League's unique demands. The physicality, the pace, the mental pressure, it's a different beast altogether. We've seen plenty of Bundesliga stars struggle to make that transition. Think about some of our own recent signings who took time to find their feet in English football. Success isn't guaranteed just because a player excels in Germany. What this potential signing would give us is depth, creativity, and options. Maresca's system demands players who can rotate positions, who can maintain possession under pressure, and who can create chances in tight spaces. On paper, this player ticks all those boxes. He could slot in behind our striker, drift wide to support the attack, or even drop deeper to help with the build-up play. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, our consistency issues and squad depth. We've shown we can compete with the best on our day. Just look at our Conference League and Club World Cup triumphs in 2025. But title winners don't have off days. They grind out results when they're not playing well, they win ugly when they need to, and they maintain their standards across a 38-game season. That's something that comes from experience, from having been in those pressure situations before. This season feels different though, doesn't it? There's a sense of optimism around the bridge that we haven't felt for a while. Maresca's bringing through young talent, the playing style is attractive and sustainable, and we're building something for the long term rather than chasing quick fixes. Our 4th place finish last season and return to the Champions League shows we're heading in the right direction. Would this signing improve us? Absolutely. Would it make us title contenders? That's where it gets complicated. Football isn't played on paper, and titles aren't won by individual brilliance alone. They're won by teams that function as a unit, that have that mental toughness when things get tough, and that can maintain their standards when the pressure mounts. What we need to remember is that we're in a rebuilding phase under Maresca. He's implementing a new system, bedding in new players, and creating a culture that can sustain success over multiple seasons. Adding more quality to that mix can only be a positive thing, but we shouldn't expect overnight transformation. The reality is that this potential signing would represent another step forward in our development, not the final piece of a title-winning puzzle. We're building towards something special, but these things take time. Look at how long it took Guardiola to perfect his system at City, or how Klopp gradually built Liverpool into the machine they became. So while the excitement around this potential arrival is completely understandable, and we should be buzzing about the possibility of adding such talent to our ranks, let's keep our feet on the ground about what it means for this season specifically. The Premier League is a marathon, not a sprint, and title challenges are built on consistency, experience, and that winning mentality that comes from going through the tough moments together. What do you think, Blues? Are you getting carried away with the transfer excitement, or do you agree that we need to be realistic about our title chances this season? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, keep the faith, because something special is brewing at Stamford Bridge.